Integrative Negotiations Overview. Hi, my name is Dr. Emily Block, and in this video, we will talk about integrative negotiations. As you might remember, distributive negotiations involve haggling over a fixed amount of value, that is, slicing up the pie. In a distributive negotiation, where there's likely only one issue at stake, typically price. When you are negotiating with a merchant in a foreign bazaar or over a used car closer to home, you're generally involved in a distributive negotiation, and it may be difficult to add issues other than price to the mix. Some characteristics of distributive negotiations include that they are competitive, win-lose, they focus on claiming value, negotiators' goals are in direct conflict, resources are limited, and finally, that they deal with instrumental concerns only and don't care about the relationships with the other party. Although we often think of distributive negotiations as being prototypical, there are some downsides to treating negotiations as win-lose. First, it creates unwise agreements that don't actually meet the underlying needs of the parties. You may come to an agreement, but it may not actually be satisfactory to one or either of the parties. For example, at my house, we always have trouble deciding where we want to go for dinner. I mostly want sushi, and Chris, my partner, mostly wants pizza. Half of the time we end up ordering Mexican, which honestly doesn't satisfy either of our cravings. Nobody wins. Nobody gets what they felt like, but neither of us wanted to let the other one win. Second, thinking about negotiations in a win-lose frame also is inefficient. You go back and forth, trading concessions and starting from extreme positions. It takes a lot of time and energy, which can be avoided. Finally, the process can be pretty hard on relationships. It can be frustrating and create animosity between parties, especially if you have to go through the whole process every time you want to come to an agreement. So why do we do this? A lot of times it's based on our fear of being a soft negotiator. Think about yourself for a second. Do you consider yourself to be a hard or a soft negotiator? When we think of soft negotiators, we often think of people who get taken advantage of. They approach negotiations hoping to be friends and to reach an agreement that makes everyone happy. Soft negotiators often make concessions that cultivate the relationship and tend to find themselves changing their position easily. Trust is central in soft negotiations, as soft negotiators often share a lot of information and are truthful about their bottom line. These negotiations often end up with the soft negotiator yielding to the pressure, taking one-sided losses in order to come to a single answer that both parties can live with. When we think about hard negotiators, we often think about people who are stubborn and unmoving. Hard negotiators view negotiations as an adversarial process where their goal is to win at all costs. Hard negotiators often demand concessions as a condition of the relationship and make threats. These negotiators do not like sharing information and will often lie or misrepresent their true sentiments to get what they want. They dig into their position, apply pressure, and fight giving away any concessions. So when you think about yourself being either a hard or a soft negotiator, most people view their tendency with a certain amount of pride. Hard negotiators think that they're smart for not letting others take advantage of them. Soft negotiators feel superior because they feel that their collaborative nature is both kind and ethical. But what I want to argue is that neither hard nor soft negotiators should have a reason to feel superior to one another. Neither negotiating hard or negotiating soft is an effective approach to negotiation in many circumstances. You get caught in a feedback loop where you never get anywhere. There is another alternative to change the game, to think about negotiations as not hard or soft, but think about them as being principled. Principled negotiators are problem solvers. Their goal is to reach a wise outcome efficiently and amicably. They avoid having a bottom line and invent options for mutual gain. They use reason to persuade others and are open to reason themselves. They are willing to change their minds based on principles, not just because they're under pressure. Principled negotiators engage in integrative rather than distributive negotiations, where parties collaborate to find win-win solutions to their disputes and focus on developing mutually beneficial agreements based on their interests. One of the key concepts to integrative negotiations is to focus on more than one issue. This helps you see where trade-offs can be made, helps you prioritize the issues for yourself and your partner, helps you see what the underlying interests and themes in the negotiation are, and gives you an opportunity to expand the pie and claim more of it. The other benefit to multiple issues is that often negotiators believe that they need to focus on the most difficult issue first. When they do that, they often get stuck on that issue. Bad feelings are created and the negotiation goes sour. Being aware of multiple issues can help you recognize where trade-offs can be made so that both easy and difficult solutions are overcome. Finally, trust is a major component of integrativeness. It suggests that what you want is what's best for the other person as well as yourself, which puts them at ease and helps them to think in a more problem-solving mode than defensive mode. Starting out with an integrative mindset will increase trust in the negotiation, which will then increase cooperation and the potential to reach an optimal agreement. Your goals in integrative negotiations are no longer centered around just winning. You now care that the other party's interests are being satisfied to some extent. Thus, you want to make them feel like you're not seeing them as an opponent, but a partner. Initially, you may want to help the other party warm up to you so that there is more trust, cooperation, and information sharing occurring in the negotiation. Once you're working together instead of in direct opposition, you will likely find that trust can help lead to a shared understanding of the situation. Cooperation can lead to the identification of the interests of both parties, and information sharing can lead to the invention of new and better solutions. Thanks for watching this video on integrative negotiations. See you later.